than 700 people are entitled in theory to attend, but given the short notice, the actual number is likely to be far fewer. At the last Ascension Council in 1952, about 200 attended. King Charles III has since left Bamura for London and to address the nation later. In the meantime, outside palaces and churches, people are leaving flowers and personal tributes. There was a 96 ceremonial gun salutes in Westminster Abbey, St. Paul's Cathedral, Windsor, and other parts of the UK in honor of the late Queen. And at the Parliament, MPs paid tributes to the late monarch, a convergence that will be suspended until after the coronation of King Charles.
Late Majesty's image is an icon for what Britain stands for as a nation. Her legacy will endure through the countless people she met, the global history she witnessed, and the lives that she touched.
Climate King Charles has said he intends to reduce the number of working royals, cut expenses, and better represents modern Britain. Adebola Brooksland, NTA News.
Now, the Nigerian High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Ambassador Tunji Shola, has described the 70-year reign of late Queen Elizabeth II as highly instrumental to the attainment of independence of many African countries and promotion of human rights across the world. Speaking on the life and times of Queen Elizabeth II on Good Morning Nigeria, Ambassador Tunji Shola says, apart from supporting independence of not less than 6 African countries, the late Queen went on to ensure harmonious relationship between countries colonized by the British through the Commonwealth of Nations.
The emphasis was not even strictly on British-Nigerian relations, but rather on Commonwealth. Even when I discussed the issue of binational commission between Nigeria and Britain, the Queen was emphatic that whatever I want to achieve, can't we achieve through the Commonwealth?
Yes, I think we should join other world leaders and other countries to immortalize her. She has contributed significantly to human rights, pursuit of human rights in Africa. She has contributed significantly to giving self-esteem to we Africans by the way she has defended sit-tight regimes across Africa and even up to Asia.
The Nigerian High Commission to UK is presently flying the Nigerian flag at half-mast, and the condolence register is opened in honor of the late Queen.
For Nigerians and other desirable people that would like to pay condolence, and this register will be forwarded to Buckingham Palace upon completion. Those are the immediate actions that we'll embark upon. But later today, I'll meet with mission officials to look at what the British government has, and we have to dovetail into that as a mission.
Queen Elizabeth II assumed the throne in 1952 at the age of 25. She remained overwhelmingly popular due to her humanitarian services and elegance until her death. Now, members of the UK Parliament in the House of Commons are paying glowing tributes to the late Queen. Onengiye Finefaith reports that Prime Minister Liz Truss led other MPs to pay respect to the late British monarch at a session that will continue till 10 o'clock in the evening.
Order and invite the host to rise and observe a minute's silence in memory.
Proceedings at the special session in the House of Commons began with a minute of silence in honor of Her Majesty the late Queen. Prime Minister Liz Truss led members of Parliament to pay glowing tributes to a Queen considered as the rock on which modern Britain was built.
She carried out thousands of engagements. She took a red box every day. She gave her assent to countless pieces of legislation and was at the heart of our national life for 7 decades. The Supreme Governor of the Church of England, she drew on her deep faith.
In 1952, during her first Christmas broadcast, Queen Elizabeth asked the nation to pray, and I quote, that God may give me wisdom and strength to carry out the solemn promises I shall be making, and that I may faithfully serve him and you all the days of my life. She certainly fulfilled her promises.
The late Queen is remembered by members of the UK Parliament as an encouraging leader, radiating British values, duty, patriotism, internationalism, clarity, and service.
Across the nations of the world and for so many people, meeting Queen Elizabeth simply made their day, and for many will be the memory of their life. These were not meetings with a high and mighty monarch, but a conversation with a woman of experience and knowledge and immense wisdom.
She was as radiant and as knowledgeable and as fascinated by politics as ever I can remember, and as wise in her advice as anyone I know, if not wiser.
MPs remember their late Queen as a champion of democracy around the world, a great monarch who was also a mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother to her family, the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth realm, and the world as a whole.
May God rest her soul, and may God save the King.
NTA Fine Face, NTA News.
Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has received with immense sadness news of the passing of Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom. In a statement, President Buhari said himself and family and the more than 200 million Nigerians have learned with immense sadness of the passing of the Queen and the end of her unique and wonderful 70-year reign. Her late Majesty was the only British sovereign known to 90% of our population. President Buhari said, and I quote, "Our thoughts and sincere condolences are with the royal family and the people of the United Kingdom and the entire Commonwealth as we join the entire world in mourning her loss. The story of modern Nigeria will never be complete without a chapter on Queen Elizabeth II, a towering global personality and an outstanding leader. She dedicated her life to making her nation, the Commonwealth, and the entire world a better place." End of quote. The President welcomes Your Majesty's ascension to the throne in line with tradition and prays King Charles III's reign will witness the continuing robust and sisterly relations between our two nations. Now, a 10-member presidential committee on the national economy has been constituted by the federal government towards addressing peculiar challenges being faced by Nigeria in response to global economic situation. President Muhammadu Buhari, who inaugurated the committee, described as unacceptable that tax revenues are only about 8% of the nation's output, and tax members to respond more swiftly and efficiently so that delivery of most basic services can be enhanced. State House correspondent Adam Sambu brings us the details.
President Muhammadu Buhari, as chairman, the Presidential Committee on the National Economy has the Vice President, representative of the Nigeria Governors Forum, Ministers of Finance, Industry, Trade and Investment, as well as the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources as members. Also on the high-powered committee are the Secretary to the Governor of the Federation, Chief of Staff to the President, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Chief Economic Advisor, who will serve as Secretary. President Muhammadu Buhari said although the nation's economy continues to grow despite the adverse effects of rising interest rates, a stronger United States dollar, and higher inflation across the world, the drastic cut in the oil production by about half the OPEC quota for Nigeria due to economic sabotage is not healthy.
While still concern about borrowing is well understood, our resort to borrowing must also be appreciated in the context of the resources required to deliver on the infrastructure, health, and other socio-economic needs of our students. It remains a major goal of this administration to continue pursuing the social protection programs. These programs provide support to the most vulnerable of our students.
Government, he also said, is not unaware about resource mobilization and utilization as well as fuel subsidies, saying, however, that his administration's objective remains to ensure that spending is efficient and result-oriented.
However, the right balance needs to be struck to ensure that as we protect our citizens, we do not leave room for inefficiencies and leakages. It is also important to ensure that our national investment environment is such that local and international private investors can be attracted and retained. This committee will provide our nation an opportunity to be bold, more proactive, and innovative to deliver on our most important objectives for the good of our people.
For the Chief Economic Advisor, Dr. Doan Salami, the task before the committee is to share collective appreciation of the challenges bedeviling the country and agree on approaches and policy measures towards addressing them.
Our job, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, is to redouble our efforts to ensure we can, in the time left for this administration, to achieve some of the more important goals that we have set ourselves, whilst at the same time understanding the global environment and its domestic impact.
The committee, comprising all policymakers responsible for the economy, is expected to report back to the President every month on progress achieved in dealing with the challenges confronting Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And efforts by the federal government to tackle malnutrition and its attendant challenges are beginning to take shape, says Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, just as nutrition-specific budget estimates are likely to be included in the 2023 appropriation bill. Vice President Osinbajo was speaking at a virtual meeting of the National Council on Nutrition. The council, with the approval of the president, has now ensured that nutrition departments exist in several ministries, departments and agencies of governments. The ministries are that of Health, Agriculture, Humanitarian Affairs, Women Affairs, Information and Culture, as well as Industry, Trade and Investment. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control and the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, among others. Laulu Akonde, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in the Office of the Vice President, in a press release indicated that during the meeting, the Ministry of Budget and National Planning and the Nigerian Governors Forum made presentations on the implementation of the National Multi-Sectoral Plan of Action on Nutrition, particularly on the funding of nutrition activities in the country. The Senate Committee on Farmers says it is satisfied with the agency's intervention on Calabari Road in River State and will pursue the implementation of 5% petroleum tax to enhance efficient road maintenance nationwide. Kingsley Amajiri brings us the story.
To Emoa Calabari Road is a step by the Senate Committee in its oversight function to appraise FEMA utilization of budgetary provision towards road maintenance in River State. This would also help the Senate Committee members to look into FEMA's request for further budgetary provision in the 2023 fiscal year.
Well, the one they did is okay because I look at what they did an overlay here. The portion was very bad before, and now they clarify it and it was inserted and then overlay it. So I think if they can do it like that everywhere in all the roads, it would be fantastic.
The committee says key to more intervention on roads nationwide depends on availability of funds. Thus, the committee chairman says they are meeting with relevant stakeholders to ensure that 5% petroleum tax fund is released to the agency.
There was act that was amended that used to get money for FEMA, that's 5%. petroleum user charges. It was actually amended since back 2019. So, but up to now, the implementation is not what we are yet we are pursuing it.
Federal Road Maintenance Agency (FEMA) is the federal government agency empowered by law to monitor and administer road maintenance towards keeping them in good and safe conditions. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Adeola now takes over from me to Joy to lead us with trending stories from Lagos. It's over to you, Adeola.
Thank you, Lami. We'll start with political reports. As politicking for the 2023 general elections gathers momentum, Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has tasked Nigerians to leverage on the Electoral Act to vote in credible candidates that will work for the development of the country. The minister stated this in Lagos while delivering a lecture on the 2023 election and the future of democracy in Nigeria. Ruth Samuel reports.
In a couple of months, Nigerians will go to the polls. The people will elect new leaders across the nation and for the nation. It is not surprising, therefore, that the hall was full to capacity, with the audience listening with rapt attention to the discussion on the 2023 election. Highlighting some of the gains of democracy since 1999, Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, said the country has fared relatively well despite the many challenges confronting the nation. The minister believes that the upcoming election provides another opportunity for Nigerians to take a critical look at the candidates who have the competence to effectively govern the country.
Did we vote for or did we collect tricycles? Did we collect sewing machines? Did we collect generators? If we did, can we legitimately expect that the budget from which these things were procured will also provide health care, will also provide drugs, and diagnostic equipment in our facilities?
The panel of discussants identified vote buying, failed campaign promises, and issue-based campaigns as determining factors in the minds of the voters ahead of the 2023 election.
This election is going to be a bit different because the biometric and verification systems work. The machines are working.
The body of governance, and this time to be very challenging after the elections. The reason is that managing the expectation of Nigerian people is not going to be a walk in the park.
The need for Nigerians to demonstrate restraint in condemning the country before the international community was also part of discussions at the forum. In Lagos, Ruth Samuel, NTA News.
Issues of low women participation and inclusion in politics have over the years generated debate from various quarters. As the political arena becomes active again in preparation for the 2023 general elections, agenda setting has been hyped to give a better chance to women in the political dispensation. Hingino John Adams takes us through some of the burning issues.
Data from the National Bureau of Statistics show that at the return to democracy in 1999, women political representation in Nigeria was 2.5%. In 2003, it was 3.7%, and currently it stands at 4.8%, which is far below the global average of 22.5% and African regional average of 23.4%.
We need more women to come out there, articulate our needs, and work on it, network.
This is a convergence point for ideas from these women to seek ways of scaling up the number.
When we have more women being included in government, in decision-making positions, it's easier for their own voices to be heard, for them to push for agendas that would meet the needs of women in Nigeria.
We've been developing and designing activities and programs in collaboration with development partners and other people of like minds to ensure that we sensitize and engage with women and other participants and stakeholders.
In the overall national registration for this year, we have women more than 150,000, more than men, and we are expecting that it should not just stop at that. Also in the area of collection of PVCs, we want to see many women also collecting their PVCs.
As the clock ticks towards the 2023 general elections, it is expected that campaigns for women participation and inclusion will yield positive results. In Lagos, Hinginu, John Adams, NTA News.
And those are the stories making headlines in Lagos. Do not forget that you can still follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Nationwide will continue this time around with Susan in Makurdi. After this break, stay with us.
Good to have you join us in Makurdi. Parents in Benue State are lamenting the economic hardship as schools prepare for a new academic session. Simbiat Agbaji, who went to some markets in Makurdi to assess the level of patronage of back-to-school items, has details.
In a few days, a new school session begins. Going back to school for a new academic session is always a big deal for both parents and children. On the part of children, the days of unhindered fun and leisure comes to an end, while for parents, it is back to the routine of school runs, planning and expenditure on school uniforms, books, fees, amongst others. With these changes, the responsibility is on parents to put in place preparatory tools to aid a smooth return to school.
When the school resumed, it takes around as if I think we were supposed to be prepared, but we just slept over and we felt that we have nothing much, no much load on us to do. But eventually, we discovered that the day is almost breaking. So that is why it becomes a rushing hour.
We are here to buy like flowers, lunch box, and everything that they will be using for the school. Prices is a bit high, but what can we do? The children need to go back to school.
A school administrator, Isaiah Hindan, says all is in place as they are ready to receive pupils upon resumption.
We were here from the 5th of September, that's Monday, and we're running down to Friday seminars. We just rounded up for day 3 today, and the non-teaching staff, the sanitary staff are also tidying up everywhere.
On the other hand, sellers of school items lament low patronage.
The patronage dropped down for this time. I think it's probably based on things went up high and there's no money.
They are, however, optimistic that there would be rush hour sales by the weekend. In Makurdi, Simbiat Agbaji, NTA News.
The Benue State Police Command says stiffer penalties will be applied to those who flout the restriction order of motorcycle operators in the state. Police Public Relations Officer SP Sewese Anene gave the warning in an interview with NTA News in Makurdi. Moses Udi reports.
Restriction of movement of motorcyclists, Okada, came in force following increasing cases of armed robbery, armed banditry attacks and court-related killings in the state, amongst other crimes. To reduce this security threat, the Benue State government in August 2022 imposed a ban on movement of these cyclists across the state between 6 in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. However, barely 1 month after, some riders are back on the streets of Makurdi to continue with their businesses.
Our members are complying, but we know it's natural that human beings, when a certain order or policy is not enforced, you will definitely have some people who want to give it a trial. The majority of the people you see flouting that order as either security agencies or people who are private back riders.
Expressing displeasure at the development, the police public relations officer, Sewese Anene, observed that the command will do everything humanly possible to enforce the order.
Cyclists are expected to move from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the evening and stay back for their own rule. Some persons are not ready to comply. The challenge has been complaint of means of moving in times of emergency and troubles that for families that may not have vehicles, but the policemen are human.
She further appealed to the Motorcyclist Union to caution its members as the command is positioned to collaborate with the public and union in providing a safe and crime-free society for all. In Makudi, Moses Udi, NTA News.
And that does it from Makudi. It's back to Lami in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thank you so much, Susan. Now, Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Hanuri, says the pilot of the National Emergency Medical Services Ambulance Scheme, NEMSIS, would soon take off. The minister, who gave an update on the scheme with other guests on Good Morning Nigeria, also indicated that the second phase of the NEMSIS dry run is in designated areas of the FCT will precede the pilot stage. Joseph Otsen brings us the story.
The National Emergency Medical Service and Ambulance Scheme is the brainchild of the Federal Ministry of Health towards addressing maternal and infant mortality, as well as bridging gaps in the primary healthcare delivery in the country. The Minister of Health says the scheme will afford citizens across the country access to immediate medical care at the nearest facilities close to them, thereby reducing infant and maternal mortality rate.
The service will be given at no cost to providers, to end users at point of care. But the management of claims has to be very well organized so that people are confident that they will get reimbursed for their expenses. And also that we're working using not only government assets but private sector assets. It's a very unique collaboration between the public and private sector. Going to work and all of that, and somebody has an accident, or somebody suddenly develops a cough, or somebody has a medical emergency at home, that patient gets picked up, and that patient is delivered to an appropriate urgent care center, which is already predetermined, which is what we're doing. We registered centers that are able to provide that care, and this is already predetermined, so we know where each kind of problem can go to.
So far, the dry run of the scheme in the FCT has been conducted.
And it covered a wide area, including all the way from Kwale down to Buhari and here the FCT. So from what we have learned there and the challenges we observed, we now want to, or we plan to conduct another dry run with the improvement we have made within the system.
The implementation of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund using the three gateways, the primary healthcare gateway, the NHS gateway, as well as the medical emergency gateway, is actually a game changer as far as the PHC funding is concerned.
The guests, however, emphasized the need to enhance the scheme with quality facilities, personnel, and reliable technology. Joseph Otsen, NTA News.
Still on health matters, to be on track towards ending HIV, TB and malaria, at least $18 billion is required. This is the target of the Global Fund's 7th replenishment investment case to be launched in New York on September 19th. Uche Gochukwu reports that a pre-conference was held in Abuja to mobilize political commitments by countries.
Global Fund investment since inception in 2002 has worked towards building resilient and sustainable systems for health and strengthening pandemic preparedness and response. Records show that it has so far saved 44 million lives, reduced the combined death rate from HIV, tuberculosis and malaria by half in countries covered.
Continued global commitment to funding a robust response is critical for continued success. And further to that, investments we are making in health have a multiplier effect on the economy, education, private sector engagement, energy, and numerous other sectors.
WHO will continue to partner with the Global Fund
the US government, and other partners in supporting the country to roll out new tools and innovations toward ending the epidemic of the three diseases.
Nigeria has made significant contribution to the fund and has in turn benefited immensely, as evident in the progress in the prevention and treatment of the three epidemics.
Over $3.8 billion has been mobilized and invested in Nigeria via the Global Fund system.
We are committed to fulfilling our obligation to the citizens by progressively investing in their health, education, and overall welfare. I encourage other countries to rise up to this noble call by increasing their pledge by at least 30% to enable the Global Fund meet its targets.
The pre-conference in Nigeria hopes to mobilize political commitments to increase contributions to the 7th Global Fund Replenishment Investment Case, with the theme, Nigeria's call to fight for what counts to end HIV and AIDS, TB, and malaria epidemics, as well as achieve universal health coverage by 2030. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
And as part of efforts to upscale effective service delivery for persons with disabilities, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development is engaging state directors responsible for rehabilitation of persons with disabilities. Ruth Aguela reports that an annual conference was held in Abuja.
Their daily struggles to fit into the society, protect their rights, and give their voices a chance to be heard have not gone unnoticed, with various interventions by the federal government to change the narrative. This conference, organized for state directors in charge of rehabilitation of persons with disabilities from across different sectors in the country by the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, is to share experiences and chart a way forward on improving service delivery for persons with disabilities.
It is pertinent that directors and chief executives responsible for people living with disabilities in Nigeria from all states and FCT meet annually. This forum will accord us all the opportunity to rub minds, deliberate, and come up with the concrete steps towards ensuring that the target group, the disability community for which we serve, get our best.
Persons with disabilities constitute a social group that is vulnerable to societal discrimination. This our meeting is participated on the fact that we all, as active stakeholders, need to do more for our target population.
The site service is committed to working and partnering with you to maintain inclusion for persons with disabilities and promote their rights for equal opportunities.
The forum is expected to break barriers through collaborative efforts and facilitate social inclusion for persons with disabilities. In Abuja, Ruth Aguela, NTA News.
Now, government is assuring school communities across the country of its continued efforts to end attacks on education and provide safe, enabling learning and teaching environments. This was as the Ministry of Education's occasion to mark this year's International Day to Protect Education from Attack. This is in tune with the theme for the international event, which is Act Now to Protect Education from Attacks.
Education is the most important investment a country can make. Unfortunately, all over the world, education has been under threat. The incessant attacks on the country's education system that we see in forms of kidnapping, abduction, banditry, increased insurgents, and general insecurity, as has been mentioned, has led to increasing the number of out-of-school children in the country. And we know the higher the number of out-of-school children you have, the more liable you are to have more insecurity in your country.
We look at how to save all senior secondary school by providing perimeter fencing and employing more security guards to safeguard our learners in senior secondary schools.
The United Nations declared the day 2 years ago in the wake of indiscriminate attacks that schools have suffered from enemies of the state. And the 2022 African Public Service Day celebration may have come and gone, but the driving force is to continue to inculcate competitive spirit among workers. Minister of State, Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, while encouraging excellent performance among staff of the ministry and its agencies, recognized 15 outstanding workers for their contributions to making the ministry achieve its mandate. Emmanuel Ayimiru has the reports.
Papa France is a level 6 officer and a cameraman whose recognition among the 15 award recipients attracted an ovation. Here is what Epaphras has been doing to earn the recognition.
I have a verse of the scripture that says, whatever I am trying to do it with all thy might. I don't care whether there's a reward for it or not. I just want to work because I sign for it.
The Director of Productivity Measurement and Labor Standards, Juliana Adebambu, and others were found to have aligned with the performance management system goals of increasing productivity.
The importance of performance management cannot be overemphasized. It has the capacity to motivate, improve organizational performance, employee retention and loyalty. It, without a doubt, also improves productivity, thereby overcoming barriers to improved service delivery.
For us, this is just one of the various ways by which we want to start to encourage public servants to put more efforts in their various assignments and duties.
A lecture to cap the event focused on performance management system and how to run with organizational goals for optimum performance. Emmanuel Ayeniwo, NTA News.
Maiduguri is next and Abubakar will be guiding us. Over to you, Abubakar.
It's always nice to see you, Lani, and thank you for joining us. To produce a poverty-free environment, APC National Women Leader, Dr. Eddie, has empowered women with cash in Borno to improve their livelihoods. 2,000 women from all segments of the Borno society, especially the indigent, felt fulfilled with a donation of 20,000 naira each. Pauline Kudivana has more on the story.
It was a lovely moment for the women in Borno to receive the National Women Leader of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Beta Edu, which, apart from the free medical outreach, also distributed 20,000 naira to them.
I hope this may the meaning to us. We don't need to give our little to support what you're doing.
Borno State Governor, represented by the Deputy Governor Umar Usman Katafur, commended the APC National Women Leader for the choice of Borno for the intervention geared towards ameliorating hardship posed by the insurgency and called on the women to throw their weight behind the APC.
This single power or effort will not doubt enhance government's determination toward alleviating object poverty there by the huge humanitarian crisis.
The wife of Borno State Governor, Dr. Falmata Babagana Umar Zulu, extolled the leadership of APC with optimism that the presidential candidature of Ahmed Tinubu and Senator Kashim Shettima will gain ground to consolidate on the achievements so far recorded by the party in the country.
It is on record that this administration has succeeded in revitalizing roads, rails, bridges, air and speakers, housing, digital economy interventions.
Director General, National Center for Women Development, Dr. Asabe Vilita Bashir, Commissioner for Women Affairs, Zuwaira Gambo, and President NCWS, Borno State, Nana Liberty, described the visit and gesture by the APC National Women Leader as unprecedented in recent times. What seems like a party arena engaged the women in a happy mood, exchanging dancing steps.
Borno State Government, through the Ministry of Works, is expediting action to complete all ongoing construction of roads and drainages as well as bridges as a durable solution to the menace of flood that had in recent times become a nightmare to many residents. This intervention by government is also expected to decongest certain areas within the metropolis and environs towards ensuring free flow of goods and services. Here are more details of the story.
This year's rainfall being experienced in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, though a natural phenomenon, can best be described as unprecedented in recent years, as it has resulted to flash flood, thereby causing destruction to lives and property, in addition to compelling residents to flee their homes. Even though construction of roads and drainages, among other infrastructure, are currently progressing significantly within the state capital towards meeting December 2022 deadline, government is optimistic that sustaining the inspection of ongoing projects will pave way for timely completion without compromising standard.
What we are doing to curtail or to reduce the impact of the flood is to create more drainages. Water, as you can see, is moving at very high speed, but we have continued to work because we have a target. We promise to finish this bridge by the end of this month.
Qualitative construction materials and adequate manpower, coupled with sustained supervision and evaluation, are making the work less cumbersome, in addition to giving residents badly affected by flood and communities that are prone a sigh of relief.
We are actually concerned with the timing, and we are working towards that to actually achieve our goals and objectives. We are actually working to alleviate the sufferings of our citizens.
Stakeholders say relevant authorities alone cannot achieve maximum success in tackling challenges associated with flood, hence calling on residents to desist from building on waterways and dumping of waste materials inside drainages.
If you're just joining us, you're on to Nationwide on Africa's Window to the World, NTA. Let us at this point take another break, but Lani in Abuja will be back with more stories for us thereafter.
Welcome back to Nationwide. The President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, says the National Assembly is working towards creating policies that will help with an end to corruption and insecurity. This came to the fore as the opening ceremony of a national policy dialogue on corruption and insecurity.
The National Assembly, working closely with security and law enforcement agencies to further strengthen their capacity to withstand unscrupulous elements involved in criminal and terrorist activities against the state, has 3 drills aimed at combating money laundering, terrorist financing, and the process of crime.
We must strive to promote good governance towards transparency, accountability, and the rule of law.
It is very easy for us to point the finger only in one direction at the government, but clearly the people actually make up the government. And so part of the message that has come out very strongly from all the speeches is that there is need for value reorientation and for citizen support to enhance and improve security.
The dialogue is an awareness for stakeholders to create more avenue that will help checkmate corruption and insecurity in Nigeria. Now, issues of national peace and unity dominated discussions as members of the NTA, FRC and Advanced Service of 9 lessons in careers visit the Ken President Danny Luku in Abuja. Most Reverend Danny Luku urged Nigerians to believe in the nation and remain patriotic, stressing that the nation will overcome her challenges.
No matter what we face now, no matter the challenges, provided that we have people who still have the love of this country at heart. There are people who are still committed to making this country great. We only have to give them support.
Leader of the team, Sushimaki, hinted that the program is scheduled for first Sunday of December 2022.
And it's taken from Joel chapter 2 verse 21. By so doing, we are praying God to calm the fears of Nigerians.
The visit is to kickstart preparations for the annual Kuru. Let's now join our sports desk for latest news from the world of sports.
There are expectations as four Nigerian teams begin their campaigns in CAF competitions this weekend. In the Champions League, Plateau United play Associated Manji in Gabon on Saturday. Rivers United welcome Watanga FC of Liberia in Port Harcourt on Sunday, while Kwara United host AS Rani of Niger Republic in Lagos, as Roma Stars visit Asfa Club in Morocco Sunday in Confederation Cup.
On paper, Rivers I think can do Watanga, Plateau United can do Manji. Extremely difficult for Roma Stars, but I do expect Kwara United to do the business against AS Douanes.
Meanwhile, football in England has been postponed this weekend as a mark of respect following the death of Queen Elizabeth II. Updates on future fixtures during the period of mourning will be provided in due course. The Athletics Federation of Nigeria relishes Tobi Amuson's extraordinary victory at the Zurich Diamond League Thursday, where she clocked 12.29 seconds to set a new meeting record.
29, well, the meeting record has gone.
Expecting that in Paris 2024, our national anthem will be sung in the stadium when Tobi and other athletes will be on the podium receiving gold medals for Nigeria in the Olympics.
Grassroots development of rugby football in Nigeria receives a boost as the Federation and a South African outfit, Sports Youth Development Academy, signs a memorandum of understanding in Abuja.
We are very sure that with the caliber of people we have from South Africa, their commitment and the comradeship they've shown in the last 40 years, Nigerian rugby will never.
And those are the stories that made the news on NTA Nationwide. We thank you for watching. Rape and rapists are what NTA does not want to see existing. So join us in this campaign. And it is on this note that I say, have a blessed weekend. I am Lami Ali.